Welcome, welcome me back to YouTube. I've been quite busy with my wife and friends, and man, I was starting to miss home, and more than anything, miss my dog. It's one of those things where you want to get away and you ask for vacations, and you work towards it, and then all of a sudden you're over there wherever you wanted to go to, and you're like, I want to go back home. So it feels good to be back. I had an amazing week out in Big Island. I have content that I'm editing and hopefully have by Sunday for you. And then I am also going to catch you all up after that with the camp listening party, aka List Perfectly. Quite a bit of stuff that has happened, going on, and coming our way. For those who may be interested or didn't hear about it, Boss Reseller Remix and FlipCon, I will be there. Aloha, May A. How are you doing? I was out. They didn't make it to Oahu, but I was out mainly on Kona side, so it was a lot of fun. Driving is nowhere as stressful as it is in what I thought was Vegas. But then when we went out to Phoenix, their speed limit may say like 65, but people are going like 85, and that's even before you get like veer onto the main freeway. Oh man, I felt like Carlos' car was so slow. I had to throw it in sports mode and like vroom 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 out of there. It was scary, to tell you the truth. And then I was like, Vegas ain't so bad. But taking it down many notches, Kona, Big Island, it was so peaceful. The vibe was just amazing. It felt like there was no stressors. Even when it comes to driving, I'll throw it back at that. Segue into driving from hectic all the way down to like, this is so peaceful. We had cars, and these are like 20, 30 cars. When there's traffic time, there is traffic, but the traffic is like 15 yards in between each vehicle. And you could see vehicles for like half a mile because you're going through hills and turns. And I was like, wow, this is freaking nice. We did go to Hilo. We went, I think Hilo was one where I'm gonna say, what was it? It was something twins, or the two sisters. They're known for mochi, and the mochi there was amazing. We had some. Carla has some coverage that she's gonna put out and share with everybody on her own channel. Carts Carla. I think I have her in my description, and not, I may have taken it off. I was trying to update some stuff, taking off some old events and now adding a new one, which is one that I have linked up in here. If anybody's considering going to the Boss Reseller Remix, you could save only off of your virtual ticket, I believe $10, and it is an affiliate link. I get a little bit of money. I mean, it goes a long way because I just give it back anyways to what I do and share here with my content. I am gonna say I missed you all. I don't know if y'all missed me, but I miss seeing the usernames, the names that I know of the usernames. But I also got to see a lot of people face to face who I only know by usernames, and got to take some photos and share some stuff on. Yes, two ladies. Um, I've been sharing some stuff recently on Instagram, some reels, some stuff transfers over onto Facebook, and then I'm also sharing it on TikTok, which I'm trying to be more active of getting myself out there. So I got a lot of goals. Reached some, reached a lot of goals over the last, what's going to be 2 years. When I make August 19th, I'm going to hit 2 years full time of reselling. And to add to that, I was reselling part time 4 years before. So I had worked my way up to be where I'm at, to not depend on another job. But it's funny because Carry American Arbitrage joined us on the ride to and from Phoenix, Arizona. And we're talking about that. And so were other people bringing it up who were at the camp listening party. It was amazing. It was fun. So if you couldn't make it, go check out people who you know did and check out what they're posting, who they met, learn about some new faces, some new names. I had a wonderful time. I really wasn't thinking too much about who was all going to be at camp listening party other than who were there, the speakers were. And then I realized I didn't feel like there was much YouTubers. I felt there was mostly resellers, and it was like, wait, I am missing out on another community, and gonna look into things like posh meetups and groups. And I just thought it was really eye-opening, even more so with what I thought I knew, or getting to know a lot about the reselling community. But I was only looking at YouTube reselling community. Now I'm looking into more things, and I think a lot of other people did too, and vice versa. Had a lot of resellers, say from Poshmark, saying I knew about the YouTubers, but now I'm like, whoa, I'm missing out on them too. So that's cool that Clara, Amanda, the whole List Perfectly company or group, family, like they are pulling people together. And that's one of my biggest things lately is just community building. And it's pretty amazing to have my first invite to be a speaker. I was a little nervous. And then all of a sudden, I was like, just be yourself. That's what people say, be yourself. But it was just a different atmosphere for me. Unlike this, I don't have you face to face. And I had questions that were given to us that we had to answer. And they were some tough questions. I'm going to see if maybe the next time or somewhere in the video, I could show you the questions that we had. And maybe you could comment on them on how you would answer it. And they were not easy questions. But, that was some of, I would say, complaints for some people was like 2, 3 questions in one. And they're great questions, but there also wasn't enough time to give each thing one by one by one because how active it was, and it was so active there that it was amazing. There was a lot of FOMO. Got comments also about like FOMO not being there and the stuff I was sharing, and I'm sure other people there you're catching up to on social media about the camp listing party, and it was amazing. It definitely helped me when looking at what I said and preparing for these questions. Although I was given the questions like 10 days before, I was like, I'm just gonna not think too much into it, and what how it comes out is gonna be shared. And I think I'm known for that. For me being that way. And I think it comes off just being myself, genuine, as people say. Who's up in here? Because I'm like trying to like pour everything out. There was a lot that happened in 2 weeks, and I hope to share as much, but I'll be sharing some content about it. How is everybody doing? First of all, excuse my manners. How is everybody doing? I'm gonna get into my goals about things that I was working on towards. Um, they came faster. But what were some of your goals, say the last 2, 3, 5 years that you're working on and have already done, and what helped along the way? Where are you now? What are you doing? What has these stepping stones taught you, especially with your first goal? And I'll get started as y'all start commenting, and also in all caps, share where you're from, what city, what country, whatever's. Like, let people know, because also, like, when these things happen, when people go into lives, when people meet up at community events like we did recently, it's crazy how there's a lot of people from the same general area, and not so much like it's within miles of each other, and some of them are a little further, but it's like incredible when that comes up. So I like to ask those things wherever I'm at, and start talking. um let's get in the chat. Oh, I see Aaron Bradley, got to meet him. Very busy guy. He has a podcast, he has a website, and he's working with other resellers, getting questions, doing follow-ups. I like where he came from and what he's going to share more of. So out in here in the tab, let me see if I'll go to I need to jump on my StreamYard. I had my Facebook open so I could highlight his name, because I don't think I have too much Aaron. Aaron's up on YouTube. In my personal life, like friends that are here and family members, a lot of Aaron's, especially double A Aaron's. We got Mary. Mary, thank you for messaging me. I kind of felt bad, but I was so busy I couldn't reply. And last night, maybe before that, when you send a voice message on Instagram, I just smile like I'm doing now. I was like, oh, so nice to have people think of you. And I was thinking of you and many other people. Willis, Texas. Where is that at? Willis, Texas. That's new to me. Not familiar with it, but there was quite a people from Texas over there that were at the event, camp listing party. Even some in Kona, people were talking a little out loud, and they're like, I'm from Texas, so and so. And I'm like, oh, what part? Some were from New Braunfels, which I'm familiar with. Some were from San Marcos, little towns around San Antonio. And I was like, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Out of all places, a little island, and Texas folks be wandering around there. Linda. Hi, Linda. Kenosha County, Wisconsin. Here's Aaron. Let me highlight him again. But yeah, I liked his website. I've been wanting, and I mentioned this before, I've been wanting to get back to a blog because when say you have stuff like this, say I'm talking or you're talking to somebody and you share content or just want to share information or just spill your mind out, whether it goes somewhere or not. I've done it before and I did really good off of it. I just didn't have the understanding back then, like I kind of do now on YouTube, where you have an outline of what you want to focus on, a so-called niche. Although my niche is good vibes, afford to live in his lifestyle that I have, progress in it, and hopefully inspire somebody to be the same way, to get out of their struggles, to where the hard struggles about life and frustrations are no longer your motivation and feeling of having this like tension of like, I want to get out of this. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be asking for rides. I want to stop taking the bus, if this is your thing. Because this is all me I'm talking about. And these are things that came across my head. When I was in Hawaii, I took the bus for like 2 years. To and from all the way at Oahu, and sometimes 4 in the morning just to get to college on time at 7. I would have to get up at 3:30, catch the bus by 4:15. Hopefully, I didn't fall asleep and end up from Waikiki, end up in like Nanakuli or out in Waianae. And then it's happened like 5 times. I I doze off and I think I just blink my eyes and I'm out on the other side of the island and I'm like, holy bajolies. I pulled the string, I jump out the bus. Fortunately, every time somebody out there up above was watching over me, had another bus for me to jump on, and I would get back and catch my class on time. And then after that was waiting for the bus again, going back to Waikiki. And I used to have a clothing brand out there and I shared it with a friend. We had a very tight place. It was like 4 feet, I think, by 11. And that's a very narrow, like little section, but we made it work. And after that, then I would go home and I would say I'll do my homework later. I've always had that habit, but it's funny how these things happen, like taking a bus, wanting to get out of it, and now I'm like, I have a truck, and I haven't even driven it in weeks. Went on vacation, which is one thing I never like. When you're in a rut and you're down, you don't hate life, but you're like, why me? Like, how can I get out of this? And you apply for jobs, and you give your job everything, and then all of a sudden it's like, this everything isn't enough. That's when I'm fortunate enough that my wife brought up thrifting and reselling. I had to ask her all these little questions. What's thrifting? What's reselling? We don't have that back home. Um, and has led me here to where I'm not worrying about bills. I'm not working towards my bills. I definitely don't want to step backwards, but it's incredible once these things change for you, once you apply yourself, once you start asking questions. And I think that was my big giveaway for the camp listing party. This event is that when you ask questions, don't ask a question in general for other people that are may relate to a question that you have, but ask a question or the questions that are things you are working on personally, things that you are facing or know you're going to face, to help you get a step ahead and not make these little hurdles be like mountains. You want something like, oh, that little advice helped me, now I get to step over it. It's a lot more pleasant. So when you have questions like that, and it's not just hanging around, like real questions that help you get through stuff. Ask the questions that are going to help you, not general questions of things that you may feel like. I think one of the biggest ones, an easy one for me, but it wasn't the same answer as before, same feeling. So one of the questions was, during our panel, they said, how do you get over the loneliness of being a reseller? And in the beginning, I felt that way. And again, it changes over time. So I felt lonely in the beginning because my wife didn't understand reselling. It was new. As it wasn't that she wasn't supportive, is she didn't know about how to communicate with me with it, and I had no idea about reselling jargon, new in box, stuff like that. It's like LOL for the first time when AOL came out. Like, what's this even mean? Dial up. Like, it's just a totally different language, and now I'm learning more about it. So we had this wall up to where it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know how to help you, or I don't know how to ask questions to relate in the conversation to you. And then along the way, I learn and I teach her, just bringing it up, and eventually I catch on. It's like her trying to come inside here, my wife, and ask me and talk to me about nursing verbiage. and I would be lost. I would have to break down every little thing like a newbie of like, what does this mean? What does that mean? What do you mean you're charting? And I giggle every time my wife says like, yeah, I went to work and there's, you got to chart over here, and when you're done, you got to chart again. I was like, I thought charting was a bad thing, but I guess it's welcome in the medical field. So it's a different type of charting. So I cracked up every time because of that, because of my goofiness. Oh, Mary, oh, I see it right now. Thank you for the 10 buckaroos. This is gonna go towards what comes first? Boss Reseller Remix. That's gonna go towards that and video content. And I got some plans I want to work on. And there's one thing that came up. Something very serious, something that touched me very much. And speaking to this amazing woman, I'm gonna people are gonna do some things for the Boss Reseller Remix and donate a lot of electronics towards her fearless foundation. And I'll have more about that in an actual video as I put it together and see if I could do something special with her to get a video to not share my words, to introduce her if you don't already know her, and her share what I'm talking about right now. I know it's vague, but there's a lot to it, and I don't want to come off of it lightly because it is not light to talk about or bring up that way, but it means a lot, and it put people in tears, and it also brought big smiles of what the purpose is for her and where this is going. And it's not going to be a one-time deal either. But let me thank you for this, Mary. Give me a second. How do I do this again? I haven't been on in a few weeks, and I do feel rusty. Ooh, I don't. Was it this one? I think it's this one.
Aw, you shouldn't have. Do it again.
Yeah, that was one of my newest ones. So, Mary, thank you very much. I hope you're doing well yourself. I am doing amazing. I hope you all are doing well. We got New York in the house. What part of New York? What part of, I believe, the 5 boroughs? When we had left there, Candy, I don't know if you know, but me and my wife had our 12-year anniversary out there the week of the May 3rd, whatever week that was. And oh, who was I talking to? I think I was talking to Aaron actually. Where's he at? I was just talking about him. Aaron's gonna be going to New York. So saying this, if there's anybody else out there you want to do meetups, maybe you have enough time. But there is an app for the subway out there, and it's a week long. Carla and I were there 7 days, but we left the 7 day. And the app tells you where to take the sub, where to get off, and the stops in between. And it's a very, very good app, especially for a week. I'm surprised it's not like 2 days and they sucker you into getting it for a month, and even though you use it for a couple of days. But I would recommend getting that app. Have one person get it if you're with somebody, and then have the other person follow up if you're there longer than a week. So you get 14 days and so on and so forth. Let me go through here. Vintage Gigi, I was just thinking about you, Sue. I was just thinking about you yesterday and today. The items that you gave me, the jewelry, I'm having a hard time selling them. Although you say or message me saying, "Hey, sell these," and you broke them down by day. I appreciate it very much. But my mind now is like, I could use these because you did the work for it and you collected it over time and you've had it um, for a long time. With the story you shared with me about these pieces, and I'm like, maybe I should have a display box for myself. And even when I'm sharing content of, it helps me break it down like an index or a glossary or something. I know there's so much more than that, but you gave me quite a bit. And then Lisa's another one who is out in New York to jump into New York again. She sent me a huge box. I haven't opened it yet. It's supposed to be a lot of jewelry, but there's also stuff for Carrie, the Desert Mermaid. So I haven't opened it yet. I got it the day before we left, I think a Saturday, and I had to get it because or Monday, we left on a Monday, and we had to make sure to get it before it ends up being sent back, because sometimes the post office would do that. So we ended up just waiting a little bit, and I was like, I got it. No, we actually ended up going to Phoenix. We came back to Hawaii, had a little bit of time, waited on Monday, got the package, dropped it off because it wouldn't have fit in our trunk because of our luggage. So it was a fairly large box. I was like, oh man, I thought it was like a little box. But regardless, the thought is more than what it counts. It is very, very touching. That's what I say. At the camp listing party, people were saying like, I try to bring in these things, or not try, like it just comes out, the things that I think about, or it comes to me. I don't go with it. But talking about paying it forward and doing good for the community or being an influence in some way, whether you do content or not, I believe when somebody offers you something, although you may not be asking for it, I think it has to do because you've done something for them. I think you've touched them in a way or got them through something or helping them go through things. And that's their way of saying thank you. And that's one thing I'm learning recently because it was really hard. One of the questions I almost teared up for the second time was how do you go about building community community building. And I look at community building. At first, it was just social media because that's what I was jumping on. That's what I was learning. At work, that's different. I was trying to do something outside of work for myself. So I always had focused on YouTube. And then as I started going to flea markets and garage sales and looking at like, I'm the reseller, I'm going to a table and I'm the first reseller of what an item comes from. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, I'm not the first reseller of this item. This went from a customer buying something from a company, right? And then I wasn't looking or thinking about who's offering me what, although I'm polite, I believe, and likable. And then I started thinking, well, flea market people, swap meet people, they're resellers and they are part of the community. And why am I always trying to find something new? Although there's a lot of new stuff and always vendors popping up, I started looking at things like they are community. And if I could make good with them and see that I'm a good person because I feel that I am, they're going to look at other resellers and YouTubers who come around and not just look at us like, oh, you're going to take advantage of me or you're trying to swindle me into like a bargain. So for bargaining, it was hard for me in the beginning because I felt like where I came from and went through, bargaining was disrespectful or hurtful to me, as in, you're telling me I can't afford to pay what somebody's offering because I've gone through that. So that was really hard when I was broke and struggling before the military as a young whippersnapper. And then afterwards, I'm looking, get out the military. And I've told people this before. I didn't want to ask for any more help. I didn't want to get into things to where I'm always having my hands out and I'm not figuring out myself. I felt that was very lazy for me. And I did it for a while because I didn't know any better. And then becoming a man, when I felt I became a husband to my wife, I didn't want her marrying somebody that's always like, you know what, I'll just ask if I can't figure this out. I'll just go to somebody and say, like, I'll get a loan. That is not the way to go. You want to be your best and only ask for help when you need it. And I've been doing that. So when I started reselling, I felt that way to where I didn't I didn't want to go take a step backwards. And then I started learning differently. Like mindset is just a funny thing of how you take stuff and how I take stuff. So my wife said, why don't you bargain? Because I was reading the comments to her and she said, you should bargain. I was like, but I could do this. She was like, but you're taking it a different way. That's good and that's nice that you think that way. But if you save $2 when you go to a grocery store rather than paying full price, and you keep doing this, and you're paying for things, say for $2.50, and you could get $15 out of it, that little bargain could help you. And then Ray Natural Flipper was another one that brought that up, and it dawned on me like it finally jumped in my head to understand this could do a lot more if I bargain. If I feel I should pay just a little less, not for everything. And I also had some people say, you should stop giving people more money than what they ask for. And I think that's an opinion that if that goes for you in some cases, cool. But I don't think that's always the case. Sometimes people are opinionated. And I think I'm more opinionated on myself than what people realize. We're harder on ourselves, what people realize. And then the comments it's kind of hard at times when it's a lot of negativity, which I'm not in that anymore. There's some really good uh vibes. Like I'm things that have happened, things that have been said, and it's just like I think everybody's moving forward. Leticia, hello, my friend. Bienvenidos, Sonny. Remember, wherever you are in this moment, you are exactly where you need to be, and I believe that, and that's part of the things too of being invited to the camp listing party. And soon before that was asked if, well, I applied for the Boss Reseller Remix. I don't want to say that I was invited to speak there. I applied for it. I did my part. I was encouraging other people to do it. Even people were like, well, I'm not a YouTuber. I was like, I don't care. You have this experience. Like, I learned from you too. It doesn't matter if you're not a YouTuber. Like, bring what you have if that's what you want to do. And some of them did. Um, they didn't get it because it was after expiration date. But I told them the next time, if you don't catch it, because we follow the same people, these people who I'm talking to, I said, if you don't, I'm going to be tagging you and you better do it. If not, I'm going to unsubscribe from you. I'm just joking. I didn't say that part, but people have pushed me along the way, and I'm only seeing in people what they see in me, but differently in themselves, that I want them to do the same thing, because you could always say, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And then eventually those do it laters could be accomplishments that you could have knocked out and got you even further to where you're trying to go. So I think about that now, but it's all a learning process. Lisa, right here, I was talking about earlier. Honda Vintage, welcome back. I'm gonna open up that box. Don't know if you caught it. I'm barely looking at the comments right now. I just tend to be that way. Victoria, we got Victoria in the house, ladies and gents. These two are amazing. I'm seeing a lot of feedback on Instagram. Katie and Vicky, they have local events here, meetups. That's where I first met them. Crystal, Rosie's Closet was like, hey, you want to meet more people? Go over here and meet these two. They're amazing. That's where I believe I first met Mikey Bags of Money, and then kicked it off. And other people there, not just them. There's other people that went, and it's building back up to what it used to be. I heard it used to be pretty big, but then the Rona, Rona kicked everybody in the gonads. So, but they're doing amazing things. Really happy for them. Talk about community building. They are the two go-tos to me in my eyes that are like, if y'all only knew. And I tell people, don't just look at subscribers. Don't look at who's the most popular. There's people, little people like myself, where it's like you can learn from. Not maybe not as much from me, but more from others. So I like it. I like that this is here in Vegas for me. I'm very fortunate about it. I will say that, for reselling, for the community. It's an abundance of everything I could ask for, and I don't ever see myself leaving. I really don't. I see myself going away to vacations and coming back, but that's entirely different. I think everybody wants to get away at times. Got wait for it. What's up? What's up, Gavin? What's up, my dude? Got Rebecca in the house. What's up, Rebecca? I will be jumping back on Whatnot soon. I've been peaking in the last 2 days. I think today early was Art of Resale that I jumped in. And then about an hour and a half ago, I think it was who was it? Those two of them. One wasn't working. It was like a glitch in the camera or something. And then I think it was Jocelyn, the crazy lamp lady. Yeah, she's killing it on there. 800 and something people. That's awesome. Somebody asked a question in their comment, and I found it to be rude, because they kept repeating the question, like, how are you selling this for that much? And I wanted to jump in there and say, and this goes for a lot of other people that sell anything, that is like, they work towards it. They put the time and effort. It's not just, I came on today and I sold this for this much. And it's not just fan buys. It's for a lot of people, especially myself, but it's just like, who cares? Somebody's paying for something. You should be happy for that, because if it happened to you, you would be on the other side, like, aren't, what if I said the same thing to you? Why are you selling that for that much? You know, and a lot of times things don't sell for everything what people think. They just catch certain things. I lived in Pinole, California, if I'm saying that correctly. Linda, nice to see you on here as well. Crockett laughing around. X lives there. Comment. What's up, Sherry? Can't wait to see the gang at Flea again. Yeah, Carrie, as busy as she was, I think she's back already. She was trying to call, and we had just got a Phoenix, literally just got a Phoenix in the bed. And I was like, we just got here. I'll call you back. But she has plans. She's like, Sonny, I want to meet up. I want to do this with you, Rebecca, and Mikey, and whenever you're ready. And I'm like, let me just get back. Let me get settled back in, and we're gonna go and raid Vegas. But I also want to go to, well, it's not Vegas, but I think Pahrump and other places people were saying to go to. Eventually, I heard Reno is pretty good. I've never been to Reno, so it'd be cool to go to a new place. But I would love to go back to San Bernardino, Benz, and Phoenix, where we went to, I heard it was really good. Just Jonathan Hustle Man, who's not on YouTube, but he is on Instagram. And he has an account on YouTube, but he's just not active on YouTube. He was like, Phoenix is amazing. There's a lot of stuff. He can't keep up with it. And he's just like, I don't worry about what time I go during the day, any thrift store. And I was like, that's pretty awesome. Stay tuned for Kevin Commonwealth Picker's video of the bins, Rod Picking and Punching, and Carry American Arbitrage's video, because something happened. And my wife was there too. Something happened, and I think I'm interested because I wasn't too close enough to hear what was happening. Although I did hear from some people, like here in Vegas, like it started out like as a little hum, like a little like turn it off. And I'm like, I'm not sure what if they're talking to us because we all had GoPros. Nobody else did. Nobody's recording. Nobody's really on their phone checking prices and stuff. Different type of vibe, different type of group, and way that they do it. I will tell you, there at Phoenix where we went to, before I forget, you have to register to go inside there. There's a little barcode or something. You scan it and you register, and then you tell them your registration, or you get a email, whatever email you use, and it was like, okay, you shall pass. And I was like, that's weird, but I'm glad they do not do that here in Vegas. But maybe it's something where they send you emails. They need that for there. But it was pretty fun. Oh, Aaron was there too. Aaron was there. It was hot, so I was kind of glad that this happened, because it was like, all right, time to go. Like I started to sweat a little bit, and not because of like cameras like not doing this or that, but it was just like it's getting a little hot in there. But there was a lot of stuff. I'll do a bins haul video from that after my Hawaii video and camp listening party. I got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of good stuff. Busy is good. I used to dream about this stuff. That's why my title is like how far we've come. And just these little things, some people might be like, that's it, that's all you do, like it doesn't sound interesting. Then it's not for you. I am not for you. Why are you here? I may not be some people's cup of tea, but many of you are my tall glass of Gatorade. And I don't mean haterade. Like they'll come around. If they watch 5 minutes, they say, I don't like this guy, they're going to come around. They can't help themselves. I think it's the hair. A lot of hair comments. A lot of hair comments, especially in Phoenix. One last off topic. My favorite thrifty shop and donate was Happy Tales and Vallejo. Now back to Sonny. Commercial. Oh, man. And then looking at this, look at I've been eating good, folks. My second chin has been in premiering and being featured in a lot of photos and snippets throughout social media. So these things right here ain't so bad now. I used to hate it, but it's hereditary. Thanks, Mom. No matter how skinny we get. It was crazy what happened, but it was fun. It wasn't bad, but it was like, oh, come on. I want to say more about it, but I don't want to. I probably already spoiled it, but still, it's still great content to follow everybody I mentioned. Oh boy, you ladies are brave. Good for you. Yeah. Everybody name oh, how should I do this? I should have had somebody. I should have messaged somebody so I could show this so it's not like too random. But I have some giveaways. I'll do this the next live that I have. I have some List Perfectly giveaways, and I have hats that I've made for myself. SonnyLasVegas. I'm going to do a giveaway with that the next live. I don't have it ready because it's all still unpacked. The stuff from Camp Listening Party List Perfectly event. But the next live I will have some giveaways. And if you're interested in the BOSS Reseller remix, I'm going to keep bringing them up. I have content. I tell people when they bring it up, I have content from the last event that I did not share. Like these were a big special moment for me because it was super unexpected. And I believe I recorded it. It doesn't matter. I always said it. And I can't wait to share it. I'm really excited about it. It's a huge event, huge, like a 2-story event. That's pretty big. But it's a lot of fun. If you can't make it, you could get a virtual ticket, save a little bit of mulas, and it is an affiliate link. I get a little bit of mulas, but that's the way it goes. Just trying to build up a little. But if you could make it, there's also tickets for you there too to register, so you could check it out yourself. The tickets I think go on sale tomorrow. It'll show you when you click on that thing. I had another window open, but I closed it by accident. I've been having a love affair with food for years. Yeah. I think food takes advantage of me. The one thing about food, I will tell you, like, is not so much that I don't know that I'm eating too much, is that I got in this bad habit of eating to where I have to have this weight in my belly to be like, okay, I ate. Like I'm full now. But now that we're back, vacation is over. Back to business, which it never ended because I was still working on things in between, even though I was on vacation. But I wasn't on my phone too much. I didn't want Carla upset with me, like, why are you always on your phone? Why are you always on your phone? And I didn't do that this time. And it felt nice to really just get away from it all. Although I never want to get away from this. It was just fun to replace time that is important to me, but it comes second. My wife is first. And I when we moved here to Vegas, I didn't even think we were going to go on vacations for like decades. I never thought we were going to get out of like the headache of like not making enough. And then soon enough, it was like I got into reselling a few years later, or 6 months later, and then it's this is who I am. I'm a reseller. I'm a content creator. I'm a fur daddy who likes to yell at Tip, stop barking when there's just people walking outside. But it might be my wife's cousin. She wants to do something this weekend. And back to fitness though. After this, we're gonna go work out. I was trying to get a video edited, but I have so much content. It was taking like 30 minutes per each like SD card. And these SD cards are full. They're like the 2 or 380, whatever it is, like the biggest one I could find here. Um, and they're all full. So they're taking like 30 minutes to like download. And it's like, there's no way I'm gonna get this in time. And I was like, wait, it's Friday. I haven't gone on live. Let me just jump on a little earlier so that way after this we could go exercise and get back to it. So I'm excited to be back, folks. I'm excited to see your username profile faces. That's the funny thing about this. Back to that. So username, people saying, I know this is scatterbrainish. That's me. That's typical me. Not feeling lonely. I said, you know what? I used to feel lonely in the beginning. Like I said, nobody understands what you're doing when you're the only one starting something new. It's a different type of lingo, different type of learning experience. But along the way, I stopped feeling lonely. I stopped having that feeling. I stopped carrying that on me, saying that and I started looking back. And people say, "Don't look back." I used to say the same thing, and now I think, look back, look back and see how far you've come. And I think that's very important. You may not be out of a different house, but you've progressed as a person. And if you're here, like in the chat or watching this, then life isn't that bad. You're able to go somewhere and look at things and have time to do that. And I appreciate y'all for being here. Very, very much. It's pretty fun having these events too, which I'm more and more excited about to be joining and or be a part of as a speaker. But that's not always the thing that I'm looking at to always be a speaker. It's just an opportunity came up. I was asked and I was like, hell yeah. And then Katie and Vicky, they put out there for everybody. This was public. It wasn't like, oh, you know them, this or that, and you have history with them. I do, but I don't think of them that way. Like, hey, we know each other. Like, do I need to apply for this? Do I need to? I do not think that way. And I applied and got it. I was very thankful for that. Now I got to prepare for it. I got an idea in my head of what I want to present. If I'm not on a panel, if I speak by myself, I got something that I'm working on uh, and a project. But the project I think changed. But still needing the people who have jumped on and said, "Hey, how can I help you? What do you need?" So there, I just got some recent emails too saying, "Hey, what's this special project or this secret project? How can I help?" And I was like, "That's so nice." It's so nice when I'm learning, going back and forth from asking for help and then saying I don't want help, and then learning that it's okay to say, "Hey, can you help me on something?" Something like that. And this is not like money or like, can you cover me for this? This is like, can you take a photo of yourself? Tell me what this means to you or that means to you. I want to share your story as I'm telling my story. That's just how I am. And I'm never going to change. I don't see any reason why I love being who I am now. That's one of the things I used to struggle with big time. So thankfully to my amazing wife and therapy and friends that have been encouraging, motivating more than they realize it or not. Like, thank you so much. And these are friends that are not only on social media, but in my life, people that have taught me how not to be and how to be, to just grow. And I don't focus on negativity. And I encourage you, if you feel like you're always negative or like you just got to let steam off, try to also share what you're doing to get over that, so you're not having people carry your weight on them, and now them trying to help you is not going to help them. It's you got to balance it. Again, therapy. I'm not a professional. I have no experience but my own, that when I talk like this, I'm really talking to myself, because I wish I would have did this years ago. It would have saved my wife a lot of headache and saved money off of Excedrin. um oh, simply Dana. Oh, you. Thank you for this. I got something. I haven't seen you all. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing more than well. I hope you all are. Stand by.
Super chat.
I want to do some more stuff on social media, folks. I've been slacking on social media. I've been slacking on a lot. I've been working at the same time, though. It's not like I'm not working. It's not like I'm not having content. I definitely record a lot. I like moments of people more than anything. And I like sharing that. I like sharing where it's more than just my face, which is why I kind of like when I do lives, like it's different, and I just pour my heart out. I talk about whatever pops in my head, and try to stay up to date on things because I learn about others too. Gloria, we got another one. Thank you. Thank you very much. I looked over my camera. I was like, I thought it was like a different color. I guess that's the way it works for like comments and super chats and super stickers. And I think I actually have a super sticker. Do I? No, I don't. But here's the thank you.
Aw, you shouldn't have.
Do it again. So when I make these type of things like content, or I say certain things, like I use that for a lot of things. People will give me compliments about my hair. I'm like, please stop. No, keep going. Please stop. Like, stop talking about my hair. And I get a lot of comments about my hair. Like, I'm really hoping a really good like shampoo or thing comes about. And like, hey, I want to sponsor you. Like a legit one, not like, hey, share my thing on your video. Like, I want somebody that comes in, this sponsor, if any, that comes in and says like, hey, we really want to work with you. Like, and not just like a part-time thing. Like, we care about this, and we want you to care about what we do and have like a good relationship, a friendship, but a sponsorship, something that could go far beyond rather than just a commercial. I've been very picky towards sponsorships. I recently got two, and I think I've only worked with one or two. One was what was it? It was like a New York Flowers, and then the other one was Fleek. That one taught me a lot about the information on sponsorships when they message you, because they were changing stuff around. And I was getting a little nervous. I was getting a little scared. I asked Carrie American Arbitrage, because he deals with some of this stuff and has experience in it. And he was the closest one that I knew that I could ask and feel comfortable with. And he was like, oh, you should do this. You should do that. So he gave me a lot of pointers to look out for. So, but two came up, and I'm like, this would match my audience. This would match the people that vibe with me and I vibe with. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna do it. One of them is not so much a sponsorship for my video, but they're a huge podcast company. Like, they bring in millions of people, and I didn't understand. And I'll tell you about this one. I ended up getting an email about the podcast of this person, and they talked about, this is what we do for people. This is who we bring in. I was like, okay, you have this platform. You also have it available for people as a service. What are you trying to offer me, or what are you trying to, get me interested in? So after 2 or 3 months, just yesterday, I messaged them, and this is why I did this on purpose. they were replying to a podcast with myself, Snoop Doggy, and Clara. Listing party, that Clara. List perfectly, Clara. And they messaged them through their platform to message me. So they forwarded the message. And when I got this, I said, you know what? I would jump at this opportunity in a heartbeat. It feels when I first started. Then I started thinking about, like, if I jump at this, would the same answer or offer be 4 months from now, 6 months from now? Would it be the same offer? Would they still be interested in me? So I was like, let me see how this goes. So I purposely waited a few months. I messaged them last night, like at 1 in the morning, because I couldn't sleep. I woke up, I went to sleep at 11:30 p.m. I was so tired. Woke up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Like, why am I up right now? I should be asleep. I just woke up. So I stayed up for a couple of hours. Like, let me go back to that email. I hunted it down. I messaged them saying, hey, which were you offering? The podcast? Like me to be on it? Or a service to me to create my own podcast, which I am itching to do, and gonna do. I just need to get back to listening first. So they replied back this morning, or this afternoon. My wife and I were eating, and I got the message by this gentleman. He was like, we want you to be on our podcast, and we want you to share you. And I was like, are you still interested? We would love to have you. And I was like, yes. So I was doing that to check if, because you don't know what the future is going to bring, but I just for my own reasoning or my own thing, I was just curious, would they have the same offer later on, or are they just jumping to find just anybody? And I feel like they're not. Not to say that I'm unique or special, but that meant a lot to me that I'm doing something right, and they're probably keeping track and watching. And I think that's really important to be mindful of what you jump towards or accept to be working with other companies. And it could be a huge thing. It could not be a huge thing. Who knows how it goes? Sometimes these things are like, hey, we want to work with you, and you do, but then it's like, but it's not good enough to share. But thank you for the opportunity. And that's mutual. Thank you for the opportunity to even think of me and have me go through this, because I'm going to learn through these processes. Just like Camp Listening Party, I've never spoken a panel like that as a civilian. In the military, I used to train soldiers every Thursday. And when I became a sergeant in charge of my own squad, that was on a daily basis, even after hours, before hours, like just being a big brother to these people who are older than you and younger than you. So it's not out of my experience, but it's just different as a civilian, because I had to learn a whole new different language and tried new things. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking about it now. When I started YouTube, if you go back to my old videos, I was a lot lighter. I had short hair. And I was like, I didn't even understand my own videos, but I'm like, I'm just going to push it out, because if I don't, I'm not going to learn from it. If I keep making things and not share it to witness it for myself, I'm not going to learn from it. So it's good to do that. And you don't have to share with everybody, but you could share it for yourself. You could have all this stuff on private. You could share videos on YouTube to yourself. And when you're ready, you're like, publish. Let's see how this goes. But it's kind of cool. A lot of cool. I take that back. It is not cool. Not even a little bit. Like, this is amazing. It's amazing. Like, I'm loving life, and I really want people to feel the same way. I want people just to appreciate themselves and enjoy what they have. And again, look back and know that you're a lot further than where you started. A lot. You may not have different clothes or a different vehicle, but you're a lot further as a person than you realize. Paul Philly Flipper. This is another guy, sexiest logo designer there ever was. Paul Philly Flipper just shared something on Instagram. It is not just something; it's of his dog Sasha and the Ukraine and what's been going on there ever since this has been kicking off. I'm assuming he's reprinting his shirts. He donated all that money back. There was a fascinating friend that who was part of it that he gave the money to, all the profits, and is helping out there. And with things kicking off too in the news, not that I want to get into it, but I like that. I was like, is this an old post? Like, is Instagram messing up? And it's a recent one. And I was like, that's very cool. So Paul, I should have messaged you this, but We literally got back, and I'm trying to do things here at home. But if you need me to update anything or make some changes, please feel free to ask, and I'll be doing that. Again, nothing. I don't want anything in return. I believe in what you're doing. Let me get this. Let me get this right here. Where is it?
Aw, you shouldn't have. Do it again.
Again, like do it again was one thing I like to play words on or focus on things when I like it. Especially, I steal a lot of what Carrie says. Well, a lot of what she says often, which is one thing. Like little produce people leave comments. Oh, I like when you say that, and I was like, I got it from Carrie. Eventually, I'll stop crediting her and be like, I invented it. I came up with it. I got a patent and copyright on it, and international trademark on it. Like it's pretty big time. And Mikey too. Reseller Cartel started that way. I think that was one of the first things like somebody said, and I was like, I don't need to always try to be original on something. Like, let me just, if I like something somebody says and I could see me running with it. And that created the Reseller Cartel. And it's kind of cool. Nobody brought it up at the event. They may have been thinking of it, but it was just cool seeing people meet, like, talk to Mikey, talk to Kevin, like friends of friends just becoming friends. It was really nice. I love those moments. Those are moments I've been living towards reaching, and I'm there now, like experiencing that for myself and not just online. But I also do it online when I see other people go to events. Reseller rally is going to be coming up, and people were asking like, "Are you going to go to that?" And maybe the next one, I will. And when Dante, Prison Prophet, has his event the next time, I'm definitely getting a ticket to that one. But I just can't. I don't want to be out too much places and not be home with my amazing wife. I just I don't want to be on her bad side because this year, I had like 3 or 4 permission slips. She cut up 2 of them, gave me 2 of them, and actually signed off on both of them. And this year or next year, she might just cut it down to 1. So who knows? I may have to make some copies of that. Whoa, Paul, that's awesome. Now there was a ton of demand, so I bought 200 more shirts and selling them again. Hold on, Paul. Do I got you? No, you're a moderator, right? I can't tell on my side. With this that's on. Yeah, you are. If you want to share that link, Paul, I'm not gonna say if you want to share that link, so other people could see it, and if they're interested in it, they could support you as well. You can't update perfection. Laughing out, the logo was perfect. Oh, I just melted. Or it might just be the weather. It's like 102 degrees over here, but that got me a little warm inside. Never met any of the resellers I watched online, but considered them friends and family. And I do too. Like just being here on this live today, like I feel like it's my first day back at school. It's like, oh, what's going on? And you just have a smile all the time. I did have somebody say, you smile too much. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Because I used to frown all the time. I remember one of my childhood friends, Hector Lopez. I'll go visit him, and his grandma. He lived with his grandma, and she was like, "Hey, ¿por qué están así?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean, Tia?" And she was like, "Why are you always like that?" And I was like, what do you like? What?" And she was like, "You always walk with your head down. You need to lift your head up." And that's when I think I started learning about like your isms, like I guess mannerisms or postures of how you walk, and you look down, like you could see people when they look down, it might be like off in their head, but I think I was always looking down because I was going through stuff. And she realized that. And then I started learning like how to hide what I was going through. And now, decades later, I'm like, I'm gonna smile no matter what. Like I may go through sometimes, but I'm gonna be happy, and I'm gonna share the way I think, how I think, and learn from it, and take advice from people that are there as proof, that have shown like this is advice that's valuable and they bring merit, and not just somebody who doesn't have an account and is just a name and they're bashing you. Is like I'm learning a lot of stuff, and it helps. But it's because of other people telling me or giving me advice like, why are you listening to that negative thing? Why are you letting it bother you? Like, did you even see if they have an account? What value does their comment bring if they're not a genuine person or a real person or somebody that could back it up that's not trying to teach you? So I think a little bit about that now, but before, so I used to think a lot about what people thought, and now I'm like, I care about what they think, but if it's not for me, then I'm just passive towards it. No negative thought. Is like, oh, it's not for me. Maybe somebody else could learn from it, or take it and use it as advice. Like, oh, it's not towards me, but maybe that relates to this, and I should change or do something. Um, Shagun. Oh, wrong one. Shagun, I'm gonna hit you up later on today. Carrie wants to do some garage sales, and I said, well, I told Shagun that we'll meet up at a flea market or something, but let's do some garage sales. You and I, and Carrie and Dawn. Dawn will be in for town for a little bit. If things change, I'll let you know, but I'm definitely down. Nice long 5-hour drive again from Phoenix back to Vegas. It was a good drive, but with good company, it didn't feel long at all. But all the excitement and all that was going on at the camp listening party drained me in a good way. A lot of information. I think everybody felt a little tired, but it was just because it was trying to keep up with so much. Like, your brain does work that way. It doesn't have to be physically being like running around miles or on a treadmill or doing push-ups, stuff like that. Like, when your brain is working, it could drain you big time. If for any of y'all that have been on Whatnot, reselling on Whatnot, even just for 30 minutes afterwards, you are like, this was fun and amazing, but like I just want to take like a quick little 10-hour power nap. I did say quick little 10-hour power nap. Deb's Fines. Hello. Rebecca. I gotta run, but call me, Sonny, when you have time. Big hugs. Big hugs. Give a hug to your mom for me. I'll be seeing y'all soon. Miss you both. Oh, what's up, chat? Friday. Aloha Friday, everybody. Bye, Mrs. Rebecca Leticia said, Manuel, I just scrolling through lives. What do you do? I am a reseller. I share content on YouTube, and I have to tell you that I'm prior military. I've also, before that, was like, I worked in workover rigs. I worked picking watermelons during the summer, pick stream beans. I was probably one of the youngest people to be OSHA certified and MSHA certified for mining in San Antonio for the OSHA, and MSHA for the San Miguel Lignite coal mine. Like, I've done a lot. But now all of that has brought me towards reselling and doing this full time. I used to work at the Win before I did this, and a little before that, I was a kickboxing instructor and worked at the post office. So I got experience in a lot of things, and I'm glad you asked this, and I'm saying what I'm saying, because not everybody's gonna find that one thing that's like, this is it. This is what I want to do. You're gonna may experience stuff to where you go through all these different jobs to find what job doesn't work for you, that you look at it like, this is it. This is it. Before I went to reselling full time, I was reselling part time for 4 years, but I almost jumped at an opportunity of being a manager, and it was going to be for janitorial work. And I figured they get crapped on the most by other peers and employees that I was witnessing. And they work very hard and they walk around with a smile. I was like, I want to be in charge of them. I want to look out for them. And things happened at work to where I didn't get it. But things led me here to where I was working hard enough, doing enough, continuing to learn to where I'm reselling full time. But I use my background in digital media. I was born and raised as an artist. Both of my parents are artists. I'm colorblind. Like, I have handicaps of myself that used to hold me back, and now it's like I don't feel anything could hold me back with what I want to do. And I like that the community that I'm in doesn't make me feel like I'm unwelcomed. The consignment chat, 3 ladies there. They asked me a question, and I'm going to answer it here, but I want you to check out their full video because they were asking other people stuff for their content. And they said, what did you take away, or what did you like for the cap listing party? And I said, I really liked that I came in and I felt welcomed, because I didn't have the best answers, but I gave the answer that I would as I would hear somebody in front of me. It wasn't something like cheesy. Not to say anybody did that, but I just felt like I was okay at falling into rambling with an answer and losing what the question was. But it was like I didn't feel bad about it, or like, oh, you knucklehead, like you screwed this up. I didn't feel like that way at all. And I think that's really important, to be okay with being yourself. And reselling has helped that, but only because I started creating content and I started learning how to talk better and communicate better. I'm not perfect, and I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to be myself, and that's continuing to be who I am right now and not go backwards. Hector too. Hector. Hector Lopez. Hector Lopez from Charlotte, Texas, not in the ATO. I hope you, Jasmine, Derek are doing amazing. As I was seeing this, Hector too, I don't know how I came about it, but Dave, ADH Dave, just put out a video today. He is now a full-time reseller. I was watching this video before going live, and I was like, man, I could relate in a lot of ways of stopping one thing to where like this is it, this is everything. But he worked hard enough, and I'm excited for him to have this all in and just what he does, what he's known for in the community, and so much more because he's going to have more time now. And that's one thing we talked about is like, oh, I can't wait to be full time and start doing this. I'm full time reseller, but it's kind of funny when you break it down. It's like, are you a full time reseller? For me, I'm more of like a 90% buyer, 10% reseller. And I need to flip those numbers. I need to switch it to where I'm 90% listing, selling, and 10% buying. Work smarter, not harder. And I think one of my biggest things, maybe by the end of the year, I want to hire somebody. I want to hire somebody to help me list items, and I get to do more of the treasure hunting and teach them. And I met a very fascinating, very business minded individual out there. I'm going to say her name was Colleen, or it could have been Julie. There was a lot of Mikes, there was a lot of Scotts, but she was telling me how she had a company and she would tell her employees, like, I want to hire you, but just to let you know, I'm going to let you go in 6 months. And they're like, why? Why would you do that? And people go into jobs for that security reason. Like, they don't want to think of being fired 6 months. And she was like, but let me tell you why. So she was telling me and wife that she would tell these people that because within the 6 months, she knew she could teach them enough or a little bit more than enough of what she knows for them to do it themselves and be their own boss, to have that freedom. And she said she hired and fired a lot of people. And that's the first time I think I've ever thought about that in a good way. And I was like, that would be awesome. But what if you come across somebody like Callie? And Callie is the one, amazing individual, amazing person, freaking awesome. With Ryan and Rally Roots. You don't want to let go of people like that. Not that you don't want to hold them back, and not that they are, but it's like, you still want them in your life when there's people like that. She's freaking awesome. I was on a panel with her, and her answers were really nice, crisp, clear, short, and mine were like long-winded, as I am naturally now. Because I used to not always talk this way. I used to be very cut off and like, trying to be perfect, and I'm too much in my head. And I am in a lot of things, but not beating myself up like I did before. A little over an hour, just scrolling through. So I hope I answered your question, Manuel. But the good thing about social media, like on YouTube and stuff like that, you could follow along and see what all I'm doing, who I end up coming across as well, and what I find. I love what I do. It's a cross blend of all my experiences in one, to where something I'm not going to give up or quit on. I just don't see myself doing that. I just got back to Vegas. Woo! Hope you had a good trip. I wonder if I hope Mikey, well, there should be no reason why he's not okay, but he was out there too, and they drove up there and drove back. I think they stayed yesterday. So they're probably coming back today. Mary, what's going on, Marie? Zoe, Friday is my birthday. Feliz cumpleaños. Happy birthday, Zoe. That's a nice name. My sister was almost named Zoe, but she was originally going to be named Francesca. And then they changed it to Kelly Iris because somewhere in some book it meant fourth child, which is a daughter, and your last one. I was like, oh. It's crazy how people break things down like that. Cher said, follow your content because you've always been yourself. And that has to do thanks to all of y'all for letting me feel like I could be myself. That that cannot go unsaid when that's said about me. It has to do a lot with being welcomed for who you are, to be yourself. Because when you're not, that's when you kind of hesitant of like, oh, I kind of want to fit in. I want to be part of the group. And I'm no longer that way. Now I'm much stronger minded for myself. Now I just need to get in shape physically. Puffles, I know what you mean about trying on different jobs throughout your life. I hope to make reselling my fifth, hoping to do what Dave did too. Well, you can and you will. It took me a while, it took me years. I think Dave has been on less years than me, and people could do it in less time. Julian, the bearded thrift machine, he did it for a few months and he was like, this is it. I know I could do it. But I know I could do it here in Vegas with the resources that I have. If you were to put me in back home where I'm from, I would have to be commuting several hours a day and making it worth it and then coming back and working from there. So it is harder for some areas. Is it for everybody? It could be if you have the right resources around you, or learn like Kat the Nurse Flipper. She's from a small place and she said there's nothing around her for miles and a lot of her stuff is online. So those are things I'm considering too, is doing that. But one thing I'm going to be sharing with you, or not one thing, one of my series, which I've never really done a series. Once I share with you the Hawaii content, our trip out there, Carla's birthday week, and then camp listening party. I do want to start getting into clearing up my office and my garage, and that's going to be all I'm going to be doing just about before I start getting into like thrifting again or going to flea markets. I really want to knock this stuff out. So you're going to be seeing a lot more like a day in the life working from home. Derek, I believe this is Derek. If not, Jasmine, Kaching. It went amazing. Had a lot of fun. Took from it a lot. I think one of the biggest thing I was saying early on in the live that I didn't know there was going to be more like just resellers than like YouTube resellers. I wasn't paying attention to that until maybe the evening of the second day. And I was like, wait, there's not really that much YouTubers. Or they didn't announce themselves or say, hey, I'm a YouTuber too. It was pretty cool though that people came up to us and knew me or knew one another, us YouTubers, and it was fun. But I really want to get into other groups and communities and learn about stuff. People are showing their success like on Poshmark, and I've never really had any luck, but it's maybe because I haven't put in effort to really be like, okay, how do you really work this? Because it's different. All these platforms are different. It's the easiest to list on, in my opinion, but eBay is my baby. I do very well with eBay. For fast flips, whatnot. But now eBay has their live sales. Posh has their sales. List Perfectly has some really good updates. And that reminds me, I need to email them to be part of their beta program for something, to get grandfathered in and stuff. So you need to ask them what's going on if you haven't already, if you haven't considered List Perfectly. I also have an affiliate link for that. We got Jimmy Old School Flips. He is in a new home. Congratulations once again. I was catching up with his video today, and he's gonna have, I think, a series of his own of what he's gonna do, or what's that? Somebody else. But I need to catch up regardless. I wasn't really on social media like that, other than Instagram, because of the camp listening party. I got a lot to share, and I'm glad I started jumping back on Instagram. I was sharing this at the camp listening party that my Instagram for reselling was like personal, and then I switched it over like it needs to be more of reselling, and then now it's taken a turn of sharing like reels of behind the scenes or just photos of where I'm at. I'm liking that a lot more than feeling like I need to share like what I sold all the time. So find your way, be comfortable with it, enjoy it, because regardless, somebody's gonna watch it. And if you're in the reseller community, we're gonna watch it and then we'll be like, oh, you're gonna inspire other people to share more of what they're doing too. Um, if they want to share content. But I think it's fun. I think it's nice to see what other people are doing other than, hey, here's this thing that sold, rather than, hey, I didn't sell anything this week because I was over here and I worked towards this or that. I think that's also motivational, not just sales, but like your personal life. Like, you resell, but why are you reselling? What are your goals? That's how I'm thinking now. What are you going to do with it? Where do you see yourself in the future? Each of you right now, we got a few minutes. What are your goals? What one or two of your goals that you're working on? And I hope somebody in here follows you some way, shape, or form, and is your accountability partner. I didn't believe in them at first because I wanted to be independent. I don't need nobody's help and people checking up on me. But in actuality, I do. Not everybody, but some people where it's like, okay, Matt, not for my society. He does like buddy checks. He'll message me, hey buddy, how you doing? And I'm like, dude, you got a family? You're working your butt off. You have a full-time job and you resell full-time, but it's more like a full-time thing. Even part-time reselling, don't take that lightly. I put in more work during reselling part-time than I did almost 2 years now full-time. It's a lot of work that goes into part-time. That's all you think about when you get the reselling bug is like, what do I get a list? Messages. How can I make this better? What do I need to look for? I'm trying to learn breakfast, breaks, listening to vlogs, or pre-recorded videos on the way to work, after work, you're sleeping, you're like, what did I miss? You're trying to soak it all in to get there. And I'm glad I'm learning and have learned so much to where it's like now I'm focusing on more in-house stuff, like me and my wife, and making sure things are straight. And I'm glad I'm at that place. Because before I was sharing this there too at the meeting, at the conference, was that I used to always feel in the beginning, I'm going to sacrifice time eating with my wife or my mother-in-law when she's back and forth with us. Um, and I'll say, "Oh, I'll eat it later. Y'all go ahead, y'all eat." And I was like, I'm doing this because I'm focusing on reselling. I want to get out of what we're going through, and I want to pay off these bills. And now we are debt free, other than our mortgage of our house. And I think I have like 8 more payments for my truck, which is going to be awesome. And my wife got that. She was like, "Hey, I'm gonna pay more for your truck, like the payment." I pay my own truck, just to make clear. Um, and she paid extra, and that has helped narrow it down like probably 6 months. And I'm like, man, when I finish these payments off the truck, I'm gonna have like $750 left. Those could be like mini vacations or investments. She's talking about wanting a home. We ran into a couple from California, but they have a place out in Big Island, Hawaii. And I thought they were on vacation. They're like, oh no, like, yeah, we're on vacation, but we actually have a home here, a little place. And my wife immediately was like, that would be nice if when we finish this house, which is hundreds of thousands, paying it off, having another place that we could do that to. And I was like, oh, at first I was like, I don't want another place. That maintenance and people to keep up with it. What if people were squatters? You just start thinking these other things. But now I'm like, how likely is that? I could figure something out. I could get rid of people if I wanted to. You'd never hear from them again. Wink, wink. Betty, hello. Sonny, good to see you. Great to see you. And is that the famous Chihuahua? Is this the famous Chihuahua that was on there? Bad Bomb, Petersburg. I saw you on Whatnot today. Oh, was it on Arts or the Crazy Lamp Ladies Whatnot? Um, if you're on Whatnot, I'm gonna be on there soon, folks. I'm gonna be jumping on there soon. I'm gonna be selling some plushes and shirts. I'm gonna be uh getting back to being active on there next week. Next week. In 2 years, hope to work for myself reselling. You got this. If I could do it, I'm being serious. I know people say like that's a cliche. If I could do it, anybody could do it. I am serious. I am not the smartest person. I am not the best reseller. I am not the best YouTuber. But what I am really good at is following through on baby steps. And the baby steps are what get you a long way. And I say this is not what makes you isn't what you always necessarily dream about or like I want to do this. It's the work you put in to get there. And I think that's really important to focus on, to not think too heavy on yourself. Like I'm not get there and this person's that way. Don't compare yourself to other people. It's like people on the road who want to race you and they're like trying to be the first like in front of you. we started off at different times. I have no idea where you're going. You have no idea where I'm going. Like there is no first, there is only you and what you're trying to do, and that should be your focus. You are amazing. You all are amazing. I need to learn how to load pics on eBay. I am using Apple laptop, Apple iPhone, not seeing success in that endeavor. Using Apple laptop, Apple iPhone. I would make sure that I'm using, well, you don't necessarily have to. Nice photo, clear photo, nothing far away. Like I still to this day come across photos of like, say this measuring tape, and this is the photo of what you're seeing on the screen, and this is the item way over here. Like just bring it up, do your best to have a clear background. Does not have to be white, just clear. I like to share as much photos as I can. It doesn't take long. Some people say it's, oh well, it takes long to take photos, I just do the bare minimum. I don't, because I believe that the more that I share of flaws in my description, the weight, the measurements, help people understand what they're going towards, rather than somebody that just copy and pasted the cat or the title. I used to do that first, and I found that I alleviated return requests by adding the information, measurements of pants. A lot of people don't like pants and apparel, and I say thank you because you're leaving stuff for me to find and resell. And again, allow me to be where I'm at today because of that. So for all of you not liking apparel to resell, I encourage you to encourage others to be the same way, so I could have even more stuff for me to find and resell. So thank you. Oh, it was. Oh, okay. The Ching King. uh, nah, it's Kaching. It now I know this is Derek. So a while back, during one of their, I think, storage unit, maybe one of the early storage units, Jasmine, amazing wife to Derek, says Kaching, and immediately he looks at her and was like, "It's Chaching." And I jumped all over it. I was like, nah, I like the sound of like Kaching. Just more emphasis to me. Like it just sounds better. So I've been rolling with it ever since. So team Kaching. Can't stay, and I can't either, Stephanie. I'm about to wrap it up here. Just got on for a few minutes. Welcome home. Thank you very much. Take it easy. Each and every one of you, be safe. Stay tuned for our Hawaii trip video. I did go thrifting twice out there. It's gonna be a nice, long, beautiful video showing you where we went to, what we ate. I'm not gonna try to drag it out. I am gonna share the items that I found. I found some really good stuff, and I'm excited to share just how beautiful Hawaii is and what we've worked towards to afford now to go on vacations like that and not have to worry so much about things that we used to just fight over, like finances. And now it's like, okay, get rid of that. Now we could both be level headed and focus on bigger and better things, because I've applied myself, she's applied herself, not only to our individual goals, but our goals together in our relationship. I think that's very important to know that your goals are important, but you should also ask the other person, what are your goals? And see how you could help them as well. Because when you're both going towards the same thing, you're both encouraging one another not to give up. Cali Luis Primo, I've missed you a lot. We're about to call this a wrap, and I'll be calling you tomorrow. Luis, I'll be calling you tomorrow, seeing how you're doing. I get a lot of catching up with friends who are checking up on me. We're just so busy, and I know y'all understand that, because I would understand it as well. But take it easy, everybody. For those who are new, like Manuel came up earlier, make sure to like and subscribe. I have a lot going for me, and I hope to pay it forward to the community with my knowledge and what people could do for themselves. Because again, if I could get over what I've gone through, especially with just the encouragement of everybody that comes in, has been here, people who have gone, I've still learned from them as well, and people who come back and forth. It's really nice to know that. And I'm not saying that to be big headed, but I'm really proud to be where I'm at, learn what I have, and know that a lot of the same names have grown as well and have been a part of my journey, because that's also, I'm a part of their journey. Whatever they're going through, whether people tell you or not, when you're and a good mindset, you really have people carry that with them too. It's the better side, the flip side of when people are mad, everybody's mad. But when you're happy, it doesn't matter if everybody's not happy. It's that one person that was having trouble finding their happiness that you help them get through stuff. And happiness goes a long way. You have a better mindset, the world feels a lot lighter. Unfortunately for me, that doesn't mean my size of my pants or my shirts get smaller, but it feels a lot better when you're in a good mindset. You just feel way better about life. And I hope you enjoy life the way I'm enjoying life myself with you all as well. And what's going on? The link, before I go, the link to the Boss Reseller Remix is up there. Information is down in the description. If you have any questions, I will pass it forward to Katie and Vicky. But they also have an Instagram as well. I need to add that in there. They have a Boss Reseller Remix Instagram. They have a Facebook group page. They are on topical questions. They're great people to ask. They have YouTube. Katie and Vicky, they sell items, vintage items. They are killing it more than people know and doing so much. And you can learn a lot from them too. So they're going to be coming up soon, Boss Reseller Remix. And then FlipCon, I will be there. I got my ticket. I am going to get my plane ticket tonight. And I need to put that inside the description as well, that information. So if you could make it, that'll be awesome. And I'll be happy to meet with you. Please say hello to me if you run into me, or even in the comments. Like, it goes a long way. I want to know who's keeping up with me, and I'm doing my best to keep up with everybody else. I love you all, folks. I really do. Ladies and gents, cats, dogs, chihuahuas, because we have some come up in here. Thank you. Thank you for letting me feel like even when I'm not smiling, I'm smiling. And that's because of you all. Bob Bassar, what's up, my friend? A guitar Missy, hello. I am out of here. Scully, Rita, happy birthday, I believe, to your husband. Somebody had a birthday. Happy birthday. I was seeing it just earlier. Um, Now I want some cake, but I can't have cake. I got to go to the gym. Ladies and gents, thank you all so much for stopping by. Stay tuned. Next Friday, I'm going to have a giveaway. I'll have more information about the Boss Reseller Remix, which is down in the description. They got a link web page for themselves that you could go and do stuff on, see information on. But I'll add the FlipCon event as well. I'm not going to the reseller rally, and I think they sold out in tickets, but maybe I should share that anyways, because you might be in the area, meet up with like Carrie, Kevin, Dave. They will be out there. Trash Cash peeps. Awesome show to follow along too. Also, other podcasts is going to be Aaron Bradley. I need to get his info. I have it. I just need to put it inside the description. And that before I go, I know people are still in there, but that's one thing I also want to do. Get back to having a blog. That didn't look like very fun. Like, oh, the way you said it wasn't good enough. But I want to have a blog to have that information too, where it's better visual and not just in the description. I want to have these things where I have these moments of like, I see things and I have these thoughts in my head of like, I would really like to share, but I didn't record it to have the content for it. And I don't want to, I'd rather take photos of friends or moments or things, and even things that I find to resell on there. And I'm just pouring my mind, because there's a lot of things when you record things, or if you have experiences with family, friends, events, going out the day, and you're encouraged and you're like, this would be nice to share. Something good, something positive that people could look at and be like, oh, that's how he thinks about this, or a good read. Um, is what I look at. And I've been itching to do that for a while. And that's where I can share my photography and my art as well. There's more to us than just one thing, like a reseller. Oh, you're a YouTuber. Oh, you're a reseller. That is a great title that I like to say for myself, but we are more than just one title. We carry a lot. And so we get rid of some, we carry some more. Some people give us some. But I think it's really important to remind yourself that you're more than just one thing. You're more than that. Um, Thank you all. Love you all. I'll be checking on you. So if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to reach out to me. Not just on the email. I got an email in my description, but in the comments, you could ask questions, or on my Instagram if you follow me there, or the Reseller Cartel page, which we haven't been active on only because we've been busy, myself and Mikey Bags of Money, but we'll get back to it soon. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoy you all visiting and stopping by when you can, even after the lives. So I hope you're all doing well. I wish you well, and we'll be seeing each other online soon.